Okay, so here I am with SFXer. This is a software suite that allows you to quickly make, wave sound effects for your game. And I'm just testing out some damage noises here. That sounds pretty good. Yeah, sounds like he's getting hit, so we'll save that. We want to save that as a wave, so export. Alright, we're going to load that into the game as a sound. Bang. Let's do that. Good, okay. And with preload, that just indicates whether it should load it at the beginning of the game or not. For small sounds, it doesn't really matter. So, okay, we've got our sound. And one thing I did want to note is in the last video, the movement script needed a tweak. Let's get this out of full screen. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, as I was saying, it needed a minor tweak. Right here, near B-box bottom collision, we had argument 1. You needed to say argument 2 there, so just make sure you make that change. Yeah, and the rest of this can stay. And we're going to make another change here that I already made as I was testing to see why the movement was acting funny. Just make all of these other ifs else ifs, because we don't want to allow 45-degree movement with this basic collision system. It's just going to complicate things, so we'll keep it like that. Now we want to add a sound to when we hit the spikes here, so let's do check hazard. Okay, we've got returning true if we hit something, so here is if you hit the object, we're going to set it back to start. We're going to play a sound too. I think it's play sound. Sound play, let's say sound. Yeah, play. SND hit. And you'll notice I'm not loading any resources in from a file. Maybe in more advanced tutorials we'll start doing that, but in this one it just doesn't make sense for how simple we're trying to make this. And I was also, as I said earlier, I was going to make the movement system a pixel perfect system. And we could do that, but I think I'm going to save that for the platform tutorial. It makes a lot more sense with the way gravity works in this engine and the way we're going to make it work, and it'll just be better for a more intermediate level tutorial. So you see we have the sound in there. Let's try it out. Okay. Oh, that sounds great. And yeah, you'll see the collision no longer gets stuck quite as easily. So it's better. Because we're not moving at 45-degree angles. We're moving just left, right, up, and down at different times here. And so we have our sound when we hit it. Let's create a life bar. How about that? So Gamemaker has a built-in variable called lives. So we're gonna make a create event here. And you'll see lives automatically turns red. That means it's a pre-made variable. We'll set it to 3. And we are going to make a control object for this actually. So let's create object. Object control. Most games have these. This is for things like user interface menus and pause menus and life counters, everything. So anything you want to display really is going to happen here. Let's add a draw event. And we're going to draw the lives. So we're probably going to want to draw the player's sprite as a life, because that's typically how they do it if it's not a heart. And we don't want to have to draw another sprite. We're going to be lazy. So let's do I equals 0. Oh, don't want that. I is less than or equal to lives. And I plus equal 1. Let's try that. So this will loop through for as many lives as we have, and it'll draw them. I'll show you how we do that. VR player. Subimage, that's the animation subimage. For this, if there's no animation, you just put -1 that indicates the first or default. For X, we want a default X position. How about 20 pixels in? And then here's where it gets interesting. So we're going to do plus I times. Now the sprite's 32 pixels wide, so we want for each one we want to space it out by at least 32 pixels. Or at least 16, because if you think about it, that's the middle of the sprite. Let's do 24. And the Y is going to stay the same unless you wanted to tile them vertically. We're just going to keep this at 1 value. Let's put it at 20 as well, since this is a square room. And you can fiddle with that to your own liking. It doesn't matter. Let's just see if that displays. Sometimes we didn't put the control in there. That's silly. Yeah, so we need to put that in there. Alright. So you can see, okay, we have one more than we should. And the spacing's way off, so how about we do this? We're gonna draw a sprite extended here. This is an advanced draw. It allows you to have a little more control over it actually. And we're gonna start at 1. You see, we're drawing one too many. X scale. So this is the scale of the sprite that we're drawing. We're gonna shrink it down to, let's just do 0.6. So just a test, doesn't really matter. Rotation, 0 degrees. We don't want it rotated. We could, but we don't. Color, just do C white, unless you wanted to blend it some more, or you could do image blend. Let's do image blend. This is the default image color. It's no big deal, just set it to that. Alpha, we'll set it to 1. You could set it to transparent. 0.5 would be, halfway transparent, etc. So let's see what this looks like. That looks pretty good. Yeah. And we're not losing lives yet, so let's make that happen. Lives, negative equal to 1. And we should even try that. Let's do if lives is equal to 0. So this is the case where we are out of lives, and we don't want that. But we're going to actually need this to be -1. Because that's when you're out of lives and you die. That's what that's going to indicate. Yeah, that's fine. So let's play a defeat sound if that happens. So I'm going to go open SFXer here. Yeah, that's fine. There we go. Put the volume up a little bit on it. Defeat, okay. So let's do that. Okay. And instead of playing this sound, if we have no lives, we're going to play a different sound. So, sound play SND defeat. Else. SND hit, okay. appropriate death sound. Just throwing in some comments so we know where we are in the code. It helps you when you revisit it. Makes it easier to know where you're at. Read keyboard input. Let's see how that works out. We're also going to move the lives over a little bit, or we'll make them a little bigger. It's 3/4 of their regular size. And we're going to move this over to 10. Just make it look a little bit more natural. That looks good. Last life. Oh, that's perfect. And when that happens, we might want to reset the room. We might want to display a message. Let's see. Message. Caption. Now, I haven't used this yet in a while, so we're just going to see what this looks like. Let's see. And this is, again, something you should avoid in a production level game, but since this is a tutorial, using messages is fine. Just to get a grasp of what's going on with the game. Let's test it out. No message, so I'll show you what we're going to do. We'll make our own. So, how about this? If lives are equal to 0, we will draw, or -1, sorry about that. Draw a rectangle. This is going to be a custom kind of death message, or it'll be equivalent to how you would do a menu. So I'll set this rectangle to the bounding box of the corner, and the other corner room width, room height, 0. We also want to set a color. And let's see. Yeah, so that looks good. Draw text. Room width over 2. Room height over 2 again. String. You've died. Press to restart. And I'll show you how we take in letter input from the keyboard with this as well. So we do have to set a font though. Set font. Font. Death. That's a little grim. Let's do that. Font death. Make it pretty big so you can see what's going on. That looks good. Yeah, that's fine. No need to make it crazy. You could even do 32. Looks great. Okay. And if you notice, it says that's when lives are equal to -1. So when that happens, we do want to make this. We're going to set the depth to a negative number. That means this is in front of all of the other objects on the screen. So when you die, the rectangle will be drawn above everything else, and then the text will too. And we wanted them to press R to restart, so how about we do this? Yeah, we'll put it in this step, that's fine. If lives are equal to -1, sound play, sound defeat. Let's see. If lives are equal to -1 and keyboard check pressed ord, that means an ordinary character, like in this case R for restart. If that is pressed, set lives equal to 3, we're going to restart the game. And until that key is pressed, we don't want to allow this player to move, since it actually acts like a pause menu, because you're dead, you don't move if you're in that menu. So we're going to put this up here. Else if lives equals 1, or no, equals -1, sorry about that. We're going to do a not equals there. So if lives is equal to -1, none of this will be executed, which is good. We want that. Let's try it out. Perfect. Good. Good. Oh wow, it worked. And our text is a little off. That's not good. Let's do... Let's just fix that real quick. Divide that by 4. And we are going to put this on a new line. So we're going to do another draw text. Room height over 2. And we're going to add value to that. Typically put it in brackets, so the order of operations is as you declare it, obviously parentheses first, and then it follows PEMDAS from there if you don't specify this otherwise. So do that, and then we'll add 30, 38, it sounds about good. And these magic numbers you typically don't want to have in your game, but like again, since it's a tutorial, it's not the end of the world. It's not going to cause us too much harm. Just showing some basic functionality here. See how that works. That looks pretty good. It's not quite centered, but it is there all the same. So let's see, we press R, and the menu does not go away. That is not good. We want that to happen. So, you know what, this is a good time to show off the debug. We want to test to see if, when we press R, if the lives are actually... Okay, so let me show you this. This is the debug menu. You can watch variables. We're going to watch lives. It's a global variable. It is -1 here. And you could watch expressions as well, I believe, so. This might be a different type of, yeah. Okay, so that is not working, so. So, if you put it in capitals, it does. So you can see though, this is how we're testing it. When I press it, it is going to 1. In the other case, even when I was pressing it, it was holding at 0. So that's how you test and debug a problem with the debugger. It was good that that came up, we could show that. And after I put this in here, we're just going to make sure it works. And then next time we have a video here, it'll be, we'll add some coins, perhaps. We'll make the spikes move. That would be nice. And maybe we'll put a win condition, like a flags at the end that you have to get to. I don't think this is going to be too much more to this game. We'll put background in eventually, maybe some tiles, but this is just about, starting to come together, so that's good. Alright, I hope you guys will join in next time for the next tutorial, and as always, leave comments. They definitely help guide the videos along. Alright, thanks guys.